All right. Oh, gotta be strong about it. Situations. That's actually the wrong verse. Will arise in our lives, but you gotta be smart about it. That's the right verse. So, a toast for the soul mini-sode series with your favorite host, Misty, host of Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. Welcome back, guys. And although I'm not gonna dissect the song, it has a lot to do with what I'm going to talk about today. So that song is "You Don't Have to Call" by Usher. Usher, one of my favorite old school R&B singers. Yeah, I said it, old school, and it's not a diss for anybody who might be triggered. I've been hitting shuffle on my playlist these past few days just because I wanted to vibe out, very diversified and mixed up with my emotions, just as my mind and my emotions are these days with music. And Usher's songs have been coming up a lot, and this particular song, "You Don't Have to Call," it is about love, of course, has come up a few times, but that line in particular, that verse in particular, it kind of just stayed with me a little bit, and I'm going to dive into the why, because it's actually what I wanted to talk about today. So here's the thing: when you think about that line, I just shower saying it for you on this microphone, but let me say it in case you didn't understand it with my fucked up voice. It says situations will arise in our lives, but you got to be smart about it. Fun fact, I always used to sing, "You gotta be strong about it." And now that I think about it, I don't even know if that's like the second part of the song. Anyway, the point is that that line, that message, right? Although it isn't a song about love and, this chemistry between two people or whatever relationship they have. When you think about it, that shit could go for anything in life. Like, not just a relationship, like anything in your life, that shit can apply to. Think about how many times situations can arise, right? Think about how many times shit just hits out of nowhere. We get blindsided with things. We encounter things. Sometimes we don't even go look. They just show up. They are just right in front of us one day. They're standing in our way. We can't move forward. The truth is, a lot of the time, most quote unquote situations are not always positive, are not always good. And so to say that we got to be smart about it, it's so much easier said than done, right? How many times do we find ourselves in situations where they're not so great, and we have to suddenly know how to deal with it? We have to suddenly know how to tackle it. We have to suddenly know how to cope with it, manage it. Remember what I've said in the past: we are the managers of our lives. We are the head manager of this life we live. We manage the time, we manage the decisions, we manage it all, right? Thinking to all these situations we find ourselves with or in, right? How often do we have that time to be smart? How often do we have that momentum to step back real quick and think before we act or react? I am one. I've said this before, not just on my platform, also in other people's shows that I've been a guest on. I've said this before. While I have develop a better sense of myself with this, and while I've made it my commitment to improve on it and to grow stronger with it and to develop into more aware person of my ability to impulsively react and behave. The truth is, a lot of the time, even with situations, I do that shit too. Now, don't get it twisted. I used to be much worse back in my day. I am a much better person today with this shit. But I still find myself often that in certain situations, I do sometimes just react. I do sometimes behave and take course of action or make decisions out of impulse. I still do it. I've gotten better with it, but I still do it. And so I bring this to the mic today because I thought to myself, well, how much of a better person would I be, or how much stronger would I be, or how much advanced my growth would be, right? If I actually did take that moment to be smart about those situations and develop a plan or assess it or evaluate it, fuck that, and come up with a way to strategize, come up with a way to handle each individual situation that I may be in or just dealing with, right? Without any emotions in the mix in which I react so impulsively. When I'm able to put first my mindset and I'm able to actually think and I'm able to develop some form of tactics here in it, any given situation, right? Because every situation might be unique in its own way. Like, what would happen in that moment? Shit, I might be just a far more better Miss D today if I was actually able to do that. And all of this thought process came from this song, which I'm probably going to play it again tomorrow on my way to work. And I'm going to sing the shit out of it all over again. I might just take a walk to the station just so I can sing it. Anyway, the point is to this conversation that I think that's one of the commitments I want to continue to implement, but on a higher level with a greater focus, where I do want to be able to handle certain situations and certain instances in a better way. I want to be able to put forth what I have learned from my previous experiences, even the ones that I impulsively reacted on and have not always resulted in the best way. And it certainly was not my best moments. And I want to be able to develop certain strengths, and I want to be able to develop certain skills, certain tactics where I'm going to be able to face head on any other situations that may arise in a lighter way, in a better way, in a brighter way, in a more positive tone, where the lessons learned, because let's face it, in everything there is a lesson learned, but where the lessons learned at the end of the day, it does make me a winner, where I'm able to say, I did that shit here, and guess what? This works so well, it's probably going to work the next time around in another situation, even if it's not the same situation. Like, the fact is that sometimes we do make mistakes. Sometimes we are in the wrong. Sometimes we do things. Sometimes we are the situation that arise for someone. You know, we're not perfect, right? And so we also have to be able to look at that side of it. We also have to be able to look at our part and our accountability in these matters. But when it isn't us, when we are not the situation, when we're the ones being faced with shit that we may have been blindsided with or just came out of left field, then we have to be able to be strong enough and smart enough about it to be able to come up. Call it being a winner, call it being stronger, call it being smarter, call it being wiser. You know, I think there's a lot to learn from situations, and I don't think there's much learning. And I say this as someone completely guilty of this. I don't think there's much learning when you are reacting impulsively, when sometimes you are irrational to these situations and you don't always take the best course of action, right? I've been one lately where I tend to keep quiet and observe and take notes and make notes of certain things, of certain observations, and then I move accordingly. And that's cool, but that's not always resolving a situation. That's not always establishing and being smart about a concern in a situation, being able to address it, again, to resolve, again, to find a solution, again, to be able to clear the air in any given situation. So I wanted to share that. It's been a reflective moment, of course, just with a song, just with 2 little verses, 3 little verses, lines, whatever you call them. It was just a reflective moment for me, and it just kind of stayed with me, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Maybe it'll resonate with you. Maybe it'll help you look back and be like, how is it that I've been handling my situations? How is it that I handle any situation? How is it that I deal with it, cope with it, manage it, face it, address it, resolve it? How is it? Have you ever sat down and thought about any given situation you ever been in and truly can say, I took care of that shit. Yep, I did that. Can you honestly say you were able to handle every situation accordingly at your best with no point in time to look at it and say, maybe I could have done things different here. Maybe I could have done things this way. Things that make you go, I know, right? Share with me. Let me know. And on that note, with me once again sharing with you guys what I am committing to, in case you didn't capture it, I am committing to reevaluating, reassessing, not just reacting on impulse, not just reacting and being irrational shit. I want to continue becoming a better Miss D in that aspect, and just looking at situations not just as, most of them being that's a great, sometimes it may be negative, but definitely taking them on as experience, not even a learning lesson. No, experience, added experience to my wisdom and knowledge. This has been yet another week with mini-sode Tuesday series on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast with your favorite host, Miss D. You guys already know. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.